Hello guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Now before we start today's video, I'm just going to say that this happened to me a couple of months ago and I really wanted to get this video done, but because I was a bit shook up and a bit confused at what was happening when this actually happened to me in real life, I literally put this video off because I didn't feel comfortable, bringing it out. But I feel comfortable now talking about it and bringing it out. So today we are going to get on with the story. So if you guys please could comment, like and subscribe to this channel. I don't upload on here very often, but this is the channel that I upload on when I have an idea of a story, or if something happens and I happen to make a story out of it, it comes onto this channel. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video and don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys when I make another video, and I hope you guys like it. A couple of months ago, I had to go look after my little nephew. Me and my girlfriend was invited up, so we had to go look after him because the parents were working and they didn't want to pay any babysitting fees or any child cover fees. It turns out that when we got there, they were almost ready to leave, so we had to quickly hurry up and get there. When we arrived, it was just the basic talk. Hi, how are you? What time will you be back? She was telling us that the food was in the fridge for him. And that was it. She tells us the basic information, and that was all we really needed to know. My girlfriend, who came with me to keep me company when he was asleep, she put TV shows on and films on that a kid would find entertaining at their age. I mean, he's only 1 year old, and obviously, I'm not gonna lie, we put The Lion King on, Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, anything that was entertaining for kids at his age. After a couple of hours of him watching films, he quickly dozed off. So we left him and we just started talking like normal couples do. And we were on the settee, just cuddling, watching films that we would watch when kids aren't around. I'd say for about 3 hours, he slept. And he woke up and we had the baby monitor on. And we had it that loud that we would be able to hear any little moan whatsoever. He woke up giggling and laughing like someone was tickling him or doing anything that would make a baby laugh. So we went to investigate, and he was looking up at the ceiling, giggling. We looked up and there was nothing there that we could see. So we took him out of his bedroom and he was giggling all the way to the living room. When he got in the living room, he stopped, just for a brief moment, looked at the door and started giggling again. We didn't think that a 1-year-old would have imaginary friends, but we pushed it off and decided that that's probably what it was. We didn't think much about it at the time. When my girlfriend went to go and get me a drink though in the kitchen, that's when the strangest stuff happened. The toys that were in the living room would randomly start playing whenever she walked into the kitchen. And the toys would always stop as soon as she walked back in. So every time she went into the kitchen to get a drink or some food, the toys would randomly start playing even though no one was touching them. And nothing nearby was touching them. I went to the bathroom, and this is when some freaky stuff caught me off guard. I left the door open since my girlfriend was keeping him occupied, and when I went in the bathroom to go get something out of there, for some strange reason, they leave their washing stuff in the bathroom, even if it's meant for the kitchen. The door randomly shut behind me. As I was trying to get out, I thought my girlfriend was pulling a prank on me. But then I heard her in the living room, playing with our nephew. I managed to open the door and I walked in, saying, "Why was this door locked?" She turned around in confusion and looked at me. Didn't know what I was talking about. So I quickly put the washing up liquid and stuff that shouldn't belong in the bathroom back in the kitchen, which was strange to mention that was even in there in the first place. After a couple of hours, I'd say, of nothing weird happening apart from our nephew looking at different parts of the room and laughing, I went in the kitchen to go get some food. As I got in the kitchen, the door randomly slammed behind me. Since my girlfriend likes to pull pranks on me sometimes, I considered thinking that it was her. I opened the door and she was back on the chair. I asked her if she slammed the door and she said, "Would I ever have chance to get over there, slam the door and run back?" "Not really," she said, in a kind of cocky attitude, which made me believe her a little bit less. So I put the carpet wedge underneath the door so it couldn't shut. Just in case it was her, she'd have to kick the wedge out of the way first, which I would probably see her, since the fridge is across from where the door is. When I went in, everything was off. The fridge even turned itself off, which was supposed to be on. I turned the fridge back on and after a bit everything was fine. I'd say it was about 5 o'clock and it started going kind of dark around her area, which I always felt strange. The sun must have gone down early over there. Lights would flicker on and on in the bedrooms, bathrooms, even in the living room. And then the kitchen door decided to shut when I went near it, and that was enough to freak me out. I said to my girlfriend, "We need to get out of here, bring him to yours or take him to mine, but we can't stay here." When she said she didn't believe me about doors slamming and I was just doing it for attention, I really didn't sound panicked in my voice, which I should have really sounded panicked at this moment in time, but I think the shock and tiredness was just too overwhelming. We got a phone call. She was running late home from work, my girlfriend's sister. So she would get home maybe an hour to 2 hours late. I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me at first and she said, "I'm not a big believer in ghosts, so if you're gonna send me some real ghost activity happening in this flat, which I have recently just moved into, then you have to show me some real evidence that my new flat and room is haunted." I tried telling her that the lights were flickering on and on. Her son was literally looking at all parts of the room, giggling, crawling into the kitchen and giggling at something that we couldn't see with our own eyes. "What more proof do you need?" I said, getting a bit panicky and I could feel my heart racing. She said, "My boyfriend has got one of those hidden GoPro camera things in his gaming room that he's got. Go in there, it's on the side. Go in there and put it in the room, in the area that has most activity." So I put the phone down and ran into his gaming room. He had 2 GoPro cameras which had never been used. I put one in the living room and one in the hallway, since at night time the lights were flickering on and off. So I both set them to record one after another. I think whatever was in that room was trying to toy with me because nothing had happened. When I wasn't recording, toys were playing by themselves, the TV was switching off, doors were shutting, lights were turning on and off. Whatever paranormal stuff you could think that happened, you name it. That was literally like sitting in the worst haunted room ever. It was like being in hell. For about 5 or 10 minutes, nothing had happened, and it just showed me and my girlfriend with our nephew sat there watching TV. Obviously, we put some baby cartoon thing on for him, since that was the only thing that would actually make him sit down and watch TV and at least be quiet. As I thought that I was going to turn the camera off and delete the footage, he looked at the door towards the kitchen and started really laughing, like proper laugh that a baby would have when they find something extremely funny. Not a giggle, not a chuckle, but a proper laugh. He was laughing that much that he actually fell over on his side and was laughing on his back. I looked at the camera and said, "Now do you believe me?" I kept it recording, even though my girlfriend said shut it off. I said, "No, we need to find more proof and show her that there's more proof in here. She's running late home and this never happens to her, so why is it happening to us?" I recorded in the hallway where the second GoPro was. I recorded that the lights were flickering on and off, the bathroom door was open, then shut, the light came on, then it was open again, then shut. Everything that I recorded on both of those GoPros, I sent it to her. I gave her the GoPros, told her which button to press, and I said, "Watch that footage." There was a few minutes on that footage. I'd say about 7 to 8 minutes of paranormal things happening. After she reviewed the footage, she packed up stuff that she didn't really need to bring with her, in my opinion. And she went over to my girlfriend's mom's house, which was obviously her mom as well. She stayed there for about a week until she actually got something in that house to get rid of it. She hasn't moved back in there since, at least for, I don't know now, about several years. She's still living with her parents. And as far as I'm aware, she doesn't want to move into a flat around that area again. When she got a phone call from her boyfriend, that was the thing that really made her really panic and want to move out of there as soon as they could. Her boyfriend came home from work and literally said on the phone, "Where are you?" She tried to stay calm and said, "I've got most of your stuff over at Mom's house. Just come here and just don't worry about our son. He's with me." Obviously, I was keeping him entertained with my girlfriend, just playing with toys and letting him play with other toys that he had. When he was about to leave the house to come where we were, he opened the door and something punched him in the face, which sent him flying down the stairs. He quickly got up and put his shoes on and ran. When he got there, he had a big bruise on his cheek, like someone had literally just thumped him minutes before he got to the house. It looked like a fresh bruise that had really just happened. They stayed there for about a couple of weeks together. Then they went back to the house and put a for sale sign outside the flat. No buyers wanted to interest in it, and they weren't going to put that there was a paranormal thing happening in that house. Recently, someone has just moved back into it, and my girlfriend's sister and her boyfriend have moved out of the mum and dad's house, and they've now found a pretty decent sized house that they can literally settle in. Other residents have been complaining that at night time TVs would come on in the room, and it just didn't feel safe to be in that room. The previous tenants who were in that flat tried going out at night to try and not get hurt and just waste their money on going to restaurants and bars. But it turned out, when they had to come home for bed, that thing did not like them going out. So, recently, it is now abandoned. Obviously, I've walked past there with my girlfriend plenty of times to see what was happening, and you can tell gangs have broke into it and graffitied all over the walls. The security guard who patrols them flats have obviously broken in, and because it's a bottom room on the bottom floor, it's easy access. He keeps walking past it to make sure no gangs are in there, since he sees kids walking around at night, obviously standing outside the room that they shouldn't be. On several nights, he's heard screaming come from inside that room. And when he's phoned the police and the police have gone in to look, the police said that they can't find anyone in there. About several minutes after the police have gone, he hears the screaming again. So since no one can find anyone in that house, or even the source of it is, they've literally just cornered the room off and no one is allowed to go in there. So now, no one has gone back in that room since. My girlfriend's sister and her partner have moved back over to that area where their new house was, and they always like to have a look around that area. When they found out that that room was cornered off, she was happy, knowing that no one would have to suffer the same paranormal stuff that they've happened. It really shook them up. And to most people, it wouldn't sound scary, but sitting in a room with a little baby and then lights flickering on and off, if that demon or spirit or ghost or whatever you want to call it in that room was hostile, it could have attacked me, my girlfriend, the baby, anyone that was living in that room. Whenever there was birthday parties or big events, nothing would ever happen. But only on casual nights, stuff would start happening, and because they didn't believe in ghosts, some people say if you don't believe in ghosts, it kind of defeats the ghost and takes its power away, so you don't believe in it. Maybe she was just trying to hide it, or maybe this ghost had somehow found its way into their apartment. We never know. We don't know what happened. The boyfriend claims that he never saw anything. Previous nights when she's been out with her friends and he's been on his own looking after the kid, he's heard lights come on and off, and he's heard things happen that shouldn't be really happening, but he just shrugged it off as unexplainable phenomenon. I told him that if that was happening before, you should have really took that as a sign. But he didn't want to listen to my reason. He just said, well, when it happened, I easily just turned it back off. It never happened after that. You have heard of faulty wiring, he said. Maybe a spark went through the wire and turned it on by mistake. And what about the toys then that were being played by themselves? Faulty batteries? Was a electric current going through them as well? He didn't like that I was getting cocky and asking all these questions. So he just shrugged it off and said, sometimes batteries are faulty and sometimes toys sometimes play by themselves. And that was it. That was the end of the conversation we had. No one really knew how scared me and my girlfriend was, sitting there at night time and the lamps were flickering on and off. Sometimes when the lights was on, they'd be off for about several minutes, then come back on. My girlfriend had a lamp on at the side of her, and that one even kept coming off. Every time that was turning off, she was turning it on. It was a horrible experience. I haven't talked about it because it really did shook me up, and it made her feel uneasy going down there or even around that area, knowing that that haunted room was on her way going to town. Nothing has happened since. They moved in a nice new house, like I've already mentioned, and no other paranormal activity has happened to them. The room has now been bricked up, and everything that is on there is now trapped in there. So that is what happened to me over a space of a few months. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. And if you have any suggestions for other stories, please leave it down below in the comment section below.